Can you hear me? By the power of Grayskull. I forgot to plug my microphone in. I don't know, I just know that I am supposed to be channeling today for whoever wants to be here and answer some questions. And I'm going to also put out some videos of some private sessions I've done recently with a few questions that were answered that ended up having some pretty cool answers. So, yeah. Da-da-da. And I'm coughing. Feel free to talk in the chat. I don't see the chat. How are you guys doing today? What's up? Just let you know, I just have a thing saying that I'm supposed, like, I don't know why I'm supposed to be getting on right now, but that's what I've been told. And whatever you guys want to talk about or questions you want to ask, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll answer questions and all that good stuff. So, because, yeah, this is fun. And at some point, I really do need to find a moderator so you guys can just ask the questions. And I'm from Germany, and it's after midnight. Wow. Well, welcome. I could have done this earlier in the day for y'all in Europe. If you have a question, feel free to put in the chat, and we'll do the channeling thing and see what comes through. So, yeah. Where in Germany do you live? I like doing this. This is fun. Okay, go and ask. Oh, nice. I've never been there myself, but I would love to at some point go to Germany. I've never been to Europe. The furthest I've been away from here is Australia. I did that like 8 years ago. So. Yeah, no, if any of you guys have any, like, this dude, I would love to find out if you guys have any questions. Anyone that would love to ask questions, because I'm going to go back and forth in and out of the state, because, you know, it's what I do. I was about 14-year-old when I was lying dead. Then settling, I couldn't move. I felt a weight on my body. The pressure, I tried to move. My arms or feet did not work. Ooh, that's a fun. Oh, I know exactly what that is. It's been long. You have a month. I was working a lot, and I just didn't have the energy to do this for a while. So just the last few weeks I've been coming back to this sporadically, and I think I'm just going to do this more often because it's fun. And I know what this is. Like, The question you asked. Hey Z, how's it going? Um, so you were talking about sleep paralysis. Then I said to myself, "You are strong. Just connect on the right arm." I did that too. It was very difficult. I got my arm moved. So I know what this is, but I'm gonna go into the channeling state and let him answer this through me, and let him answer the question. If you have any more to add to the specific question, um, just was loosened and I could move everything again. I then realized someone was with me. Ooh, sounds like he had contact. And I know that like it wasn't just here in the States, but like everywhere in around the world was also part of the hybridization program. So that was. It sounds like you got shifted out of your physical reality and you got brought back into the actual reality. Or when shifting into a new reality, you don't always know how to move in that reality. So you actually have to mentally teach yourself how to do that. But I could really see it. I could feel it. It was bright. It was a bright creature. And the next evening, this creature was with me again, but I knew it was peaceful. Told me everything was fine and put his hand on my shoulder. Oh, that's cool. Sounds like you had a really positive interaction with them. I don't know why I'm coughing right now. Let me... like I said, if there's anything else you want to add to it, I will drop into this day and let's see if Edom has something to say and add to into that situation. But it sounds like you had got you were taken and had an encounter with a being. Because a lot of times what they do is they'll pull you into a slightly altered reality outside of your normal experience. So when you get brought back into your physical realm, like you have to actually kind of reconnect to your physical body so everything starts moving again. So, but yes, this vision of you and vision of us here are compatible with frequency. Absolutely. We wouldn't be having this interaction if we weren't compatible. So, all right, let's give it a second. Let's see. Muir, I hope I'm saying that correctly. I will shift into the state and let's see what comes through. Give me 1 second. Good day to you all. The experience of shifting between realities and experiences with beings on higher levels in a state where your frequency is not quite high enough resonance-wise, you are shifted to a parallel reality, a separate, smaller bubble reality, that you are allowed to have interactions with these beings of a much higher level. So they act in a place where they are not burning you out energetically, physically. It's much in the way that you experience as you go to sleep at night, the idea of sleep paralysis. You, as a being, chose to be part of the hybridization agenda, like many of the other people in this chat. You were just remembering because you are at a high enough frequency to be able to remember these encounters. This was purely the end of the encounter that you actually perceived because you were being shifted back to your physical reality in with the being that was there to monitor your experience, to let you know that you were fine as you moved back into the reality that you had previously existed in. At this time, many of the experiences that you as beings are having are much more in the stage of acclimatization for the hybrids themselves. Those are not necessarily taking genetic material, but if it is in earlier time, such as closer to 20 years ago, you were more experiencing the idea of more of genetic material being taken to process and also have as part of hybrid childs that will be one day existing among your people. Many of those beings have chosen ages to re-enter your reality at a future date. As you approach this last large experience of your world, you, as beings, are allowing yourself to go through the last big test, as it were. You, vibrationally speaking, are experiencing the idea of war. Vibrationally speaking, this is the last major thing to come up prior to our interactions and our introduction more widely spread through your culture in your world. We will be watching and observing what you, as a culture, as a people, choose to do on an individual basis that will determine the level and the speed of contact. That's fun. Okay, I did it. What he moved March is it okay. Last evening, so yeah, no, that it can be a little disorienting going back and forth. So, but yeah, no, like. Dolores Cannon in spirit now, or has she been reincarnated? I could see it. I don't know why I got this thing in my throat now. Let's find out. I heard an interview with her not that long ago, but I think she's still in spirit currently. I don't think she has figured out quite what she actually wants to do coming back. Because, it's a process like anything else. She'd be a good one to actually do as a target to actually at least connect to. All right, let's go in. We are acting as an intermediary for the being that you refer to as Dolores Cannon. She is translating through us at this time. She is choosing at this time to not quite have or is ready to return to Earth to deliver more and continue her particular expression as a reporter. She is also not at this time ready and or experiencing the moment of perfect timing to be able to return to Earth in the form that is necessary for her to continue with the mission that she had as Dolores Cannon. She will return in a future time period for you. As you all know, the idea of past and future and present are all simultaneous in nature. Because this is the case, she knows that the timing is not correct for her. She will return on the other side of contact where information can be accessed more freely for you and for her. She will be continuing her mission as a different being at that time. As she translates through us in this moment, she is deciding what she wants to bring along with her on her next adventure back on Earth. She feels like she is not quite complete with the Earth experience, with the Earth school, and that she, at this time, does not require to be here. She would like to allow her message and her understanding to spread through more of the population. So at the time she returns, more of the information she needs to spread and share amongst your people will be more widely accepted, as well as more widely available to those who need it. This will act as a way for her in the next, incarnationally speaking, time period for her to be able to more easily remember and understand and have the experience of connecting to many other parallel lives, parallel incarnations, and many other moments that she had in that incarnation that will carry on with the work she will have in the next. Ooh. How come we humans look different, i.e. skin, hair, etc.? And give me a second. I'm just keep in mind, keep the questions coming. I'm going to be going in and out of the state, so because I actually need to read the messages as they come. So I'll be going in and out as you guys have questions. So as you know of people of many races, many colors, many creeds, you, as a people, were once merely pure hominids that were taken and had genetics modified to create Homo sapien. That race, the Anunnaki, or the Anu, they themselves were hybrid beings. They had 13 different species injected into their own genetic that made them look and act and experience reality the way they do. Different genetics from different species express themselves in different forms around your world. They were the initial hybridization that happened on this planet. Other versions of them exist in other star systems besides purely Earth. As you moved forward as a species and the second hybridization happened, you expressed different portions of those genetics in your physical forms. Different magnetics, different environments brought out different aspects of the DNA that was brought upon you as people, as your creators. They had height. They were more or less blue-skinned because the high level of copper in their atmosphere allowed them to have more or less blue skin. But the initial humans that were created around your world, because it was not just purely one aspect or one part of your world that humans were created in. That is where you get also different types of humans, because from each of the different places that they were created from, you saw different aspects of their DNA come out because it was useful in those areas to have those different type of traits be part of those experiences. You were not all purely African, as you know it. You were not all purely Nordic. Many of you show and have exhibited a very large mix of different ethnicities as well as different species that have existed on your planet throughout history. Many of you on Earth, as you sit now, have much of the Atlantean DNA, Atlan. You also have much of the Lemurian and many other alien species mixed into your DNA. So in a way, you are the future incarnations, the future of those civilizations that existed around your world a very long time ago, as you know time to exist. Hold on one second. You know, this is a really, really good mic. I can actually hear all the way into the other room. Okay, cool. Let's see. No, I really need to have. I'm going to try to find someone to actually be a moderator for me and sit there and do words. What can Ethan say about the concept of vampires? Those in horror movies that suck blood, that get mortality, and get banished by sunlight. 1% of the world's population own 46% of all global wealth, and the richest from 10% account for the top 82% of global wealth. 21. How do you see this injustice in the fifth dimension and higher? Or is almost no injustice? Alright, let's see what we got. I'm going to stick to one question at a time. Val, I think I'm going to answer your question first since it came up. And then Mirror, once that comes through, I will... The idea, what you refer to as vampires, what you refer to as the bloodsuckers of the night, they are in nature more representational. They are a figment or a way of cloaking a certain idea. You have energetic vampires around your world. You have some sanguine, which was referred to as people who suck blood. Many of those types of people are what you refer to in your movies as vampires. The actual idea itself is the darkness. It's the dark aspect of yourself that you banish. That is why when it is exposed to light, it does not live, which is why when it says bring things to light, they disappear. It is more bringing the idea of the negative aspect of desire into balance. When you expose it to the light, that stage and that energetic state of being cannot stay and it cannot exist. So you, as a being, when you are attracted to the idea of the vampire, the ravishing aspect, something that incorporates you so much it must take you in, merely this is the state of negativity that exists within the idea of romance that many of you have seen as a people, as a being on your planet. They act as a simulacrum a way of looking at that aspect of yourself. If you're drawn to the idea of a vampire, you have parts of your actual love, your romantic side, the part of you that would like to desire another person, that is more coming from a negative aspect. If you are being brought to the light, you are being told that you need to either integrate or you need to look at what is drawing you and holding you into this negative space, that you need to either become the vampire or you need to be incorporated. Many of you on the planet at this time are feeling the lack of connection. You are feeling disconnected from the romantic aspect, romantic aspect of your life and who you are as a person. They are also the idea of disconnection. They have forgotten their humanity. As many of you have been dealing with vampires in your own life, you feel like many of you have been disconnected from who you are as humans. You're more than just humans if you really look at it from many different points of view. But at this time, because of how far you have gone into the dark, you are being shown a way into the light. It's always the two aspects, because a healthy relationship with yourself and a healthy relationship with others would never produce a vampire. And in the past, those things that you refer to vampires were also part of your mythology, and they've been brought forward into your 21st century and incorporated into your media because that aspect of you still exists. Okay. That was really cool. Alright, cool. Are we now already at the splitting prism? And are we going the other way from people with fear, separation, frequency? And what will happen with them from this point of view? My counterpart told me during the last channeling that I should adopt the color red. What should I do with... Okay, this is going to be several questions, and like I said, keep the questions coming so I can actually keep going. The idea of wealth in your society has been concentrated to a small proportion of your population on your planet. In the future, in what you understand of the future, when you elevate the idea of frequency to a higher dimension, you will ultimately let go of the idea of money as the form of currency that you exchange. You will recognize that the intrinsic value of you as people will be the ultimate currency because it will be the exchange of energy. As for now, what you understand as money will still be around for years to come, and at the end of it, you will ultimately choose to let it go. But as for now, that wealth that you see flow through your society has been diverted through different means to a small few number of people. In our society, we do not have money. We simply operate on synchronicity, and we understand that people show up exactly where they need to be when they need to be there. The person with the correct skill will ultimately be there in perfect synchronicity at that moment. We do not require the idea of exchange of money like you do. There is not the idea of a hierarchy out there like you perceive it. We just understand that different people have different skills, and different beings have different jobs that they're particularly good at. So when they approach the idea of doing a particular task for the hybridization program, for the process of ascension that you are currently going through, You will ultimately give up money as your major form of currency and allow people to come from a more positive state where they're able to just express themselves as needed. Ultimately, the idea of war will eventually be gone. There may be a few skirmishes down the road, but when the idea of money and the need for power and control is no longer there, you will no longer have wars. You also no longer need the idea of money. As you experience it these days on your planet, it is used as a way of slavery, since that is such a high topic for you guys at this moment. You are being shown the different forms that slavery and wages show up, because you have been told for many years that money is the aspect that you should always be attributed to, that there is only one way. Understand that when it comes to the idea of energy exchange, it can come in many different forms. It does not require it to come in the form of money. It can, if that is the form of least resistance, but it can come in the form of someone just showing up and giving you money. It can come in the form of just someone just so happens to have that thing you need to be able to have. It can also be in the form of someone having skills. So in that way, you as a being are always abundant. You are always wealthy, but it is what you choose to define as wealth that determines what you experience it as. So at this moment, you have given a lot of energy, a lot of belief, a lot of trust into paper that you determine to be worth more than anything else on this planet. Ultimately, that paper means nothing. In higher dimensions, we do not have war. We do not have the experience of greed. We do not have the experience of want. Many of the beings in our society have gone through the experience of being human, and they have brought back the understanding of the limitation that comes with that experience. We do not choose to have those experiences at this time, so we no longer have the idea of money. There's not the idea of oppression when you move into fifth density as positivity. I gotta try that. Let's go to the splitting prism. You as beings have been experiencing for the last many years the idea of the splitting prisms itself. You are on the track. You are splitting away from those realities where certain people were in it. At times, you will experience the idea of the splitting prism as people just disappearing out of your life, just moving away and never coming back. You also have reached the point in your experience where people just either just die, or they will return to spirit, or they will split off into a reality, and you just never see them again. You, because of where you are energetically, you are being given a choice, as it sits right now, to be able to decide which reality you would like to shift into as your war. As you define it, you will experience the particular outcome, because this is your last major, and we repeat to you, major choice and test when it comes to the splitting prism. Ultimately, past this point, whatever you have chosen up to this point, whether it's war or your pandemic or any number of other experiences, those times and energetic choices will determine what your final shift will be, because ultimately, eventually, much of the energy that is being pumped into your world will no longer be there, because in those realities, those beings, those counterparts of us, will no longer be in those realities, because it has been deemed that those realities are no longer feasible for open contact, for us to have the experience and be able to connect with you and eventually physically be among you. And ultimately, those realities where we have open contact, there will be no war, and you will be shown ways of doing things that will help regenerate your world. Eventually, many of those people that you still see in your reality, but you're like, why do they need to experience those things? Why are they experiencing things in those ways? They are also at the end of this experience as well, and they're being given opportunities to be able to make a different choice, to split off into a different reality, to follow along into your realities that you are shifting into that are ultimately positive in the long run. But they will go into realities that are not necessarily positive. And many of those people will go off and have their own experiences. You will never lose the version of you that has the experience of having particular people in your life. Ultimately, the people that show up in your life are just versions of those people that you had before. I am not the same version of the same person that you connected to the first time you saw me or connected to me. You're constantly shifting. You, energetically, emotionally, spiritually, are shifting to more positive realities. But you must come from in these cases, from more of a neutral stance. It can seem scary at times. You were told from energetically the times that were ahead were not necessarily positive, but you, energetically, must come from a place of neutrality, or those realities will not be the ones that you shift to. Ultimately, you are being given the last chance to shift to more of the realities that more represent the positive aspects of higher dimensionality, higher physicality. And ultimately, your realities will actually reflect that understanding and that way of doing things and that way of being. But it's a reminder to you at this time to more express the idea of a neutral state for you to be in, so you can shift more effortlessly into those realities. Because as we all know, physical reality is 51% positive and 49% negative. So if you naturally guide yourself in a more neutral state, when it comes to most situations, you will naturally be guided down the positive path. That's fun, actually. My counterpart, does any counterpart know what I experienced and felt? And do I have more? This always takes me a minute to like shift and read the messages, so like okay. Give me a second. The idea of what you refer to as counterparts, you have many. You are constantly shifting to different ones. At the time when you were being told to use the color red, it was merely telling you to more connect to the idea of being grounded. The information that you are being given already when you are being told to connect to the color red, whether it's wearing it, meditating on the color red and allowing it to tell you what it is. It connects to the root chakra of your planet. It connects to the idea of planet Earth, the Schumann resonance, the idea of the frequency of the planet itself, because it is the lowest color you can perceive on your color spectrum. This is more of the idea of connecting and bringing the information through. For when you ground yourself, it allows the information that you are being given to actually ground the information into your experience. And when it's asking you to meditate on an idea, a plant, an animal, in any way, shape, or form, it is more of an idea of we'll say, phone number for you to connect to. Many of your counterparts themselves are actually contacting you all the time. It's just allowing the image and allowing the idea of the different imagery that they are sending you to be obvious and clear that this is what they are doing. Your idea of connecting to the larger aspect of yourself happens more in the dream time. The different aspects and the different counterparts of you are being shown to you in different ways. You, as a being, as a goal, is to merely listen. Many of you on this planet at this time do not take the simple step of just listening. Be quiet. Allow yourself to open up to what is in front of you and see that you are already being given all the guidance you need in every situation at all times. It just may come in a different form than you know of at that moment. Oh, that was cool. And yes, red is the fire element. But it's also, paradoxically, red is, or fire itself, can come in many different colors. Like if you think about the different elements that you can add into it, have you guys ever, if you guys have ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, there's an episode in season 3 where Aang is learning to firebend, and he sees that there's so many more emotions and so much more variety when it comes to fire, and it allows you to know different ways of connecting to the element of fire, because fire itself is more etheric in nature. It's that plasma, that elevated state. So when you connect to the idea of fire and also to the idea of the color red, you're drawing information in, and you're allowing yourself to ground that fire into you so it doesn't burn out and destroy the land that you're actually around. So the large can, as you mentioned there, background people, actual people, but spirituals, stepping in complete. Yes, that I know for a fact that one's true, because sometimes you can just kind of sense where people just kind of like pop in for a second or pop in for a little bit, but they're not here all the time. Let's go back in and see. Let's see what she has to say or wants to share on that. What you perceive as the idea of background people or NPCs, the idea of people who are not actually people, are more of the idea that they are your version of that person. They are actually people in their own right, and sometimes they are spirits that are just showing up to have an experience. Generally speaking, because you are not quite shifted up dimensionally or energetically or frequency-wise to a higher level, you are only merely catching glimpses of these particular people in your life. They are also, in years to come, they will be more there. They will be more of the ability to just express themselves, much in the way that we are, in the idea of quasi-physicalness, because we, on our planet, deal with spirits coming and going all the time. To us, the idea of people just showing up for a moment to do something and leaving is perfectly normal. You, as a people, will be more, and it may seem scary at first, have to go through the idea of acclimatization, much in the way you are starting to acclimatize to us at this time, through these sort of dialogues and questions. We are also allowing you to more sample higher levels of our energy and higher levels of many of your counterparts to understand that the connection that you are having in that moment is real. You are being shown an example of what is possible for those that need and want to have the kinds of connections that are more active and alive. You are all existing in different time zones around your planet, but we are all existing right now. Know that those spirits, those people that you call background people or NPCs, or you believe you are in a matrix, you are not quite in a matrix as you know it. You are more in a dream state that you have made completely real, so you can have fully the experience of being human. You are also being shown right now through the channel that it is possible to connect to more of yourself and see that the reality itself is more malleable through the experience of having these dialogues with the channel. So they are not quite background people like she knew at that time. Since being in spirit, she more sees them as an aspect of different people and also different versions of people that you have in your life that are there but not quite there. Yeah, that was fun. Is all physics reality actually a reflection of the mind that is happening within our bodies, the universe within? Ooh, nice. I'd love to know what shamanism resource that you're actually listening to. All right, let's find out. Your physical reality is a reflection of the mind that your physical reality is in. Most of what you perceive as technology is just replicating parts of what the larger mind is able to do in non-physicality. When you understand the metaphor from the movie you refer to as The Matrix, that there is no spoon. Realizing you are creating the entire reality, including the spoon. You are creating everything around you. There is nothing outside of you. The environment that you're in, the people that you connect with, are a reflection of the reality that you choose to experience. Whether it's me at this moment, or your animals, or the people in your life. They are a reflection of who you are in any given moment. Remember that this is dynamic. You are not static in your understanding of reality. You are not a victim. You are not at the mercy of the reality that you exist in. You are being given a chance at every moment, no matter the situation, the people that you interact with, you are being given a chance to actually connect to and decide how you want to interpret that reality or that experience of the people that you exist with. They are creating their version of you, and their version of you is not quite purely what you perceive to be the same as you, but is your version, their version of you in that moment. And when you go up to the level of all that is, of God, of the One, you realize that you are everything. You realize that you are the aspect of reality that you think you're in. You realize that you are all part of it. When we look at Dolphin photo or Bell Rock in Sedona, it has impact on us. Well, yeah, you're experiencing like the idea of like the vortex itself. It's something that gets caught on like camera or recorded in some way. So energetically, like even if you're just perceiving it through a photo or an image of some sort, you're actually still experiencing the energy of that. It's just in a more diluted form than it would be if you were to to fully experience it in person. So, scientists say that atoms disappear and appear from other perspectives. Does this mean our body cells are shifting? Let's start with that one, and we'll shift it back up to Mir's. And Mir, at some point, I would love to do just like a private session with you because you have fantastic questions, and I would love to actually be able to speak to you for all these questions. So, let's start with Z's. The fact that they can recognize that most of your cells, most of the environment you believe you're in, is all empty space, and they perceive that they disappear and reappear, it's just letting you know that you are shifting through billions of parallel realities per second. They are recognizing and showing that you are energetically shifting between realities as you become more solid and you solidify the environment and also the experience that you're having. That is what they are perceiving, is that shifting state that you have had your entire life. It was there all the time, but they are just reached the point where they can perceive, and also they have known these things for many years. It's just they have more recently, because of how fast things are moving, they're now allowing those experiences to be out in the public to say, hey, these things are happening. They are also not purely in accordance, because it's going to become more apparent as the years move on that you, as beings, are not just a single dimension. You are not just physical. You are non-physical as well, and you'll be able to connect to more aspects of yourself. But purely the energetic state that they are perceiving at this time is just a representation of the fact that they already knew, and they did know, that you are shifting from different reality to different reality constantly. It's just they are perceiving that shift at this time. That's cool. I also, I will say this much, right before you guys get it, I'll get a little bit of a download of what he's about to say, and then I just kind of go in and just let him talk for a minute. So I listened to the show. What is it? Okay, let's go. As many of you know, as many of you who are currently listening to this conversation that we are having with you at this time, you know that you are beings that shift from reality to reality. You also know that there are many different energetic vortexes around your planet. You, when you are perceiving the dolphin and allowing their energetic song to resonate through you, as well as whales and many other creatures, you are energetically taking in aspects of them and making them part of yourself. And you are being shown the way to connect to different realities through resonance, through the experience and the idea of you as a being. You are also, at the time when you perceive the idea of a rainbow, you are perceiving the edge of a vortex, of an energetic component to your reality, and you are being shown what is already there. Under specific circumstances, knowing that you, as a being, are constantly shifting, so as your vibrational state, as your frequency amplifies, and you are able to perceive more of the aspects of what's already there. Even if it's just in a picture. The fact that you can perceive those experiences and the energy and the different aspects of reality that are currently in front of you, you are being given opportunities to decide what you want to feel about those things. Because remember, in every situation, doesn't matter if it's the shifting prism, the different vortexes, the different species, your counterparts, you are being given a chance at every moment to decide what those things mean to you. because you are the meaning giver of all the things that happen in your life. You chose to have this experience. The denial of those experiences, or the denial that you are more than just this physical expression, you'll also be given a chance to decide how you want to experience them. Whether it's Bell Rock or many other aspects of your world. When the idea of fear pops up in your reality, you're being given a chance to reinterpret it. And when you're shown a picture of the different environments that you have been in or able to see, you'll be given a vibrational coordinates to connect with those experiences, because they still exist, but just on a merely different frequency. You're being given a chance to connect to a higher frequency in those times. Understand that water itself, rain on your planet, is a doorway. It is the reflection. It is the mirror of your prism as you know it. You know, it's actually... Give me a second. And young man came towards me. I had a strange feeling something was wrong with him. As he came closer, I saw him in his eyes, in his face, and saw behind the human face. Oh, that's cool. So you saw another being. Also, a lot of times when you're having like big expressions come up like that, something's being brought up to the surface, because I've actually had friends that have seen shapeshifters that are ETs that they've been able to see through the mask, and then they brought it back up. They saw that they were non-human entities. So our higher selves are only a spirit form. Do they need guide the physical mind? Let's see. There was another face, not human. What does that mean? Okay, let's go with the higher mind, and then Mir, I will answer your question. The higher mind itself is the purely non-physical aspect of yourself. It is that which you connect to that also connects to the oversoul. It is the non-physical aspect of you. It is not away from you. It is the thing that actually guides you. It is also the thing that allows you to connect to different souls, to your guides, because you are more in that state where you're able to perceive and also be part of more of yourself. It is the purest essence of who you are, as who you decided to be for that particular life. Think of it as the overarching connecting aspect of yourself to the more non-physical aspect of yourself. It's the thing that retains all the knowledge from this particular incarnation, whether any other incarnation that you have. The oversoul on your planet comes in many different forms. There are many different oversouls that are running around on your planet at this time. And I had to drop connection, like it was kind of intensive for a second. Okay. I think I influenced the weather unintentionally for the last couple of days to rain, so I stay home more. Okay. I lost connection there for a second. Holy shit. And also keep in mind, when I'm actually doing this, I'm actually bringing aspects of your guys' oversouls that are bringing in answers in. And so I'm like taking on, like I have Ethan as my like base layer that I connect to, but then there's other stuff that comes in and like connects in as I'm doing this. So, and sometimes it can be a little overwhelming. Okay, let's go back in. Think to yourself, what did those experiences get you to have? What did you not experience that you might have experienced otherwise? The oversoul can affect things within your reality that allows you to go a particular direction that is most beneficial to you in those times and places. When you need to interact with a higher level being, this is generally the actual level that they connect to you on first. And many times, those expressions, such as what you perceive to be extraterrestrials and aliens and spirits of many different varieties that you see and perceive, they are there as a reminder and also as a way to connect to more of yourself. Because many times, beings from other worlds, especially in this day and age that you are shifting through, will take the form that is necessary for you to have a base level interaction with that particular person. They may not be physically human. Remember, at this time, there are also many different races running around on the face of your world. In that moment, you perceived one, and you saw through a little bit of his camouflage as he went past. It was not necessarily negative. Many of you are starting to have more of these types of interactions. You are also being given a chance to decide whether or not you, as a being, would like to have more interactions with that particular being. Because a lot of times, those kind of beings could actually be more of your counterparts, like you were asking for. You're being given more opportunities to connect more or less in a less isolated way. So you can become more comfortable with the idea of the non-physical aspect of yourself, as well as realizing that you have more connections going on simultaneously at this time. Cool. And also, like, when you affect the weather, it gets really weird at times. I mean, it gets really weird. Let's check in with the weather. Hold on a sec. This is a lot coming in. Yeah. Ooh, this is a lot. I've gotten to where I can actually manage this pretty well, but like, holy shit, like sometimes it just gets to be a lot coming in all at once. In the moments where you are affecting the reality that you are experiencing, it becomes more open and more easy for you to connect to the world. If you have modified and or influenced the idea of rain, or the idea of sun, or the idea of clouds, or any number of physical manifestations of your reality, it's just showing you in that moment you are fully connected to your reality in a more open, active way. It is getting you to guide you to go a particular direction. It is also just reminding you that you are the reality that you exist in, that it is an aspect of you. It is the reflection of where you are at that moment. There's nothing negative about it. We would encourage you as a people to more openly stay connected and realize that you are the reality that you are in, and you are shifting between different realities all the time. And the realities that you shift to are just more reflective of the more connection that you have been desiring for years. And you are more open to that aspect of yourself all the time. As you just recognize and having the realization and the live connection to the reality that you're in, to see that you are the reality. You are not disconnected from it. You are not away from it. There's no way to disconnect from the reality that you earn, because it is projecting of you as a person, as an energy, as an aspect of all that is. Because you are one perspective, much in the way that we are one perspective of all that is. By the way, yeah, weather channeling. That's a pretty good one. Yeah, no, like, I can tell you this right now, like, that was a big one. That, like, it has gotten much easier to do this, but still at times this gets a little much to actually have this much in. Also, make sure you guys like and all that good stuff to this video, because we'll get more things out. How do you perceive reality in higher dimensions, in geometry shapes, TV portals, or appear? All right. Much in the way that we are perceiving the channel as you see him in front of you, we are seeing him as a vibration or frequency. Many of you, when you close your eyes, you see the reality, and you will see geometry. You will also see reflections of what you know to be reality. And for us, when we are perceiving you, we are merely experiencing your vibration that you are connected to with the channel in front of you. Energetic connections. We are connecting to your higher minds. We also will peer in from time to time on screens. We will also appear from time to time to more be in your reality as a splintered part, just slightly phase shifted out of your reality to just observe. We are not there to take you or hurt you in any way, shape, or form. We are there more to connect to you and also show you a more open way of doing it. And through us, many other civilizations and beings will connect and be able to perceive, as well as connect to the experience that we are having at that moment. Simultaneously and synchronistically, we will be able to connect to the people around us, and also be able to connect to the different beings that are not necessarily Essassani, that need to have those connections, need to have those experiences. Let's go. I'm starting to get a little, like, it's taking me a little too high, so I'm gonna probably cut this short because I need to kind of like integrate, because that was a lot to take in. But I'm gonna be doing a lot more of these kind of channels very quickly. I just wanted to pop in and do like an hour today and see who wanted to show up. So if any of you guys would like to just do like a little private 45-minute session, feel free to find me on Facebook and we'll set up a time and all that good stuff. I would love to do a Zoom session, because I'd like to actually put some, like, more just someone actually talking to me, because it's kind of hard going back and forth. Like, that's part of the reason I kind of have to cut a lot of these short, because shifting back and forth is still a little all over the place for me. So, Z, lately I have been lightly worried about me not possibly going into love and acceptance. Parallel realities is trusting without expectations. Yeah, generally speaking, all of us that are here right now, all of our jobs are here just to actually, I would say, don't even worry about going to love acceptance. Allow yourself to just be more in a state of actually if you just go to the more neutral state, you'll actually naturally more drift to the love and acceptance. And also, I wouldn't say so much acceptance, just compassion for yourself and other people. Like, compassion is actually one of the ultimate states, because compassion ultimately actually allows you to have love automatically and have acceptance, but having compassion for yourself and everyone around you, and realizing that you are the reality, and those things around you are just expressions of the things that you kind of hide inside, or you've been fighting inside. So yeah, no, if you guys would love to do like a session or two, like they're just gonna be little 45-minute sessions for the time being, but if you guys would like to do like and have a bunch of questions that you love to have answered, and just do it in more of a on-screen way, so I can actually have someone to talk to, it's a lot easier just to be in the state and stop having to go back and forth. So yeah, we'll do more of these. So, and I'm kind of at my point where I can't really do it too much more for the time being. So you guys have a great day. And Z, I would love to do just a full session with you and Mirror and anyone else that would love to do sessions. So you guys have a great day.